woke up this morning, I had no idea I'd be in this position right now.
This vehicle has zero suspension!
Welcome back to the high-speed, no-octane festival of creativity and crashes. That is the Red Bull Soapbox race. Here in Turin, they have created the mama of all courses, designed to test every single one of the homemade racers. I know what you're thinking. Why am I qualified to do this job? Well, let me tell you something. I have won one of these events. What? I have won one of these events? I absolutely have won one of these events. Yeah, I have.
Well, hello, I am Tim Warwood. I guess you'd call me a TV presenter, commentator, podcaster, content producer, jack of all trades, master of none is how I'd like to say it. You might know me, your kids might know me. If you've got kids, your kids might know me off of CBBC. I've been on CBBC doing a few programs for a few years. And then adults might know me off television for the Red Bull Soapbox race, which is on Dave.
Legend.
Which I present that with my best mate Gendel,
who you now do a podcast with as well, which is very enjoyable.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So again, well, lockdown forced the hand. So my little sister's a stand-up comic, and she told me a joke that she'd heard somewhere that the collective noun for two white men is a podcast. Now, apparently everybody's getting on it and making a podcast, and you feel a bit embarrassed. And I'm way behind the trend, but it's something that, it's just fun, isn't it? My mate, I've got another friend, Mike, that does a podcast as well. And he's like, you've got to do a podcast. You guys are best mates. And I guess because we're best mates and we've got that chemistry, and it's kind of that pub table chat that you have, isn't it? And I don't know, maybe people will like it. And it's just a bit of an outlet and maybe a bit of a calling card, bit of a during lockdown, maybe some producers will see it and go, well, those guys would be good on a TV show and we might get hired from it. But yeah, no, it's good fun. It's I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy the building of it as well. So I enjoy putting it all together, and it's a bit like, it reminds me of, I used to do radio as well in Birmingham. Not last year, the year before, I did a year on free radio on the breakfast show, and I loved it. And so doing a podcast is kind of like doing radio again, which I really loved. So yeah, no, it's good fun.
Yeah, everyone needs to check the podcast out because it's thoroughly enjoyable. So let's go back to 2014 then. So the Sochi Winter Olympics. So for me, when I'm thinking about the Olympics, it's, the normal Olympics, you're just thinking about the 100 meters, track and field, heptathlon, stuff like that. You enjoy watching it. But that Olympics blew my mind. So you were the voice of that Olympics for the most part of it. It was great, obviously, having you on there, listening and knowing you, and just seeing how well you were doing on it. So talk to us about what it was like commentating on that Olympics.
Yeah, it was brilliant. I mean, I'm just a big sports fan. You can put any sport on the telly for me and I'll watch it. It doesn't, it might be darts or snooker, right up to football, weird sports. I used to watch Kabaddi. Remember Kabaddi when it was on Channel 4? It was brilliant, man. I used to like anything that involves people competing at something where you get a winner, I'll watch it. And so as a kid growing up, I always enjoyed sport on telly, and I always enjoyed the broadcasting of it. And, back in the day, Grandstand, I'd watch Grandstand start to finish, and Transworld Sport and all the sports shows and magazine shows that we had on telly. So when I kind of got into sports presenting, and I used to work on a show called Channel 4's, it was called Free Sports on 4. Yeah. And I was at the time a professional snowboarder, and I got injured and I couldn't compete. And so the guy that ran the competition came over to me and he said, here you go, here's the microphone, you can commentate. If you're not going to ride, you can commentate. I was like, all right. So I grabbed the mic and I literally just spent the entire day abusing all my mates that were riding in the competition. And at the end, he came up and took the mic back and gave me 30 quid. And I was like, what, you get paid to you can get paid to talk? And at that point, I was like, yeah, maybe I could. I'm a rubbish snowboarder, but maybe I could actually forge a career in commentary. So started to just commentate on snowboard events. And then there was a TV director at one of the events, and he said, oh, you should come and try and do some TV. And course, I said, yeah, I'd love to. And I got into it that way. And again, doing the kind of fringe shows and Channel 4 stuff was great. But obviously BBC is the crown jewel in my eyes, but I know it's not for everybody, but they at the time were doing Ski Sunday and things like that. And then I eventually got asked to come on to Ski Sunday, and I did a few little bits on Ski Sunday. And then the following year was the Sochi Olympics. And I got the phone call from the producer, and he said, we'd like to get you out there as part of the commentary team with Ed. And I was just like, couldn't believe it. I was absolutely blown. They sent me a BBC coat, which I wore for like a month around the house first, because it had BBC written on it. And it's my nan used to keep the clippings out of the Sutton Coldfield Observer and stuff. So it was like it was fun and just it felt like quite privileged. Anyway, sorry, long time rambling here. Anyway, cut forward to February 2014, and at this point I'd done a lot of sports commentary already, so it wasn't like completely out of the frying pan straight into the fire kind of thing. I'd done a lot of commentary, and I was confident in myself, my own abilities, so I knew it'd be fine. And I just started doing it. But the way it worked was the snowboard events started in Russia before the opening ceremony. So actually, we'd already had 2 days of competition up on the hill. So we were fully in the zone, but nothing was broadcast because, as far as everybody else is concerned, the Olympics hadn't actually started. Yeah. So me and Ed are up there. We're doing all the commentary. We're, getting fully into the swing of things. And then the day of the women's snowboard slope style comes around. And we go up there nice and early again. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We watch practice. We watch it, and then it's the semi-finals that morning. So we watch the semi-finals, and Jenny, the British girl, who's a friend of mine and Ed, me and Ed are in the commentary booth, and Jenny's a friend of ours. She gets through to the finals, and we're like, oh my God, she's made the finals. This is amazing. This is really good. So, we're in the commentary booth. We've been in the booth commentating because even though you're not live, you're still working, you're still commentating, and they're taking your feed just in case they need to edit it or cut it together. So anyway, the finals start, and we're chatting away, and we're going, and of course it's this, and you've got to keep your eye on Anna Gasser, the Austrian, and all of a sudden in your ears, it's like, it's Vicky here in Salford. Commentators, take a pause, and you've just got to shut up. So we stop and we freeze, and then all of a sudden they patch into your ears. You can hear Claire Balding, and she's like, well, thank you very much for joining us on this Sunday morning, blah, blah, blah. Because it's Sunday morning. Obviously, we're 5 hours ahead in Sochi, and the UK's just waking up now. And she's like, we've got Jenny Jones in the women's snowboard slopes. And me and Ed are looking, we're like, oh my God, we're going on to network. We're going on to BBC Two. And she's like, now it's time to catch up with the guys. Tim and Ed up in the Rosacuta. Guys, over to you. And all of a sudden, I just swallow and I think, oh God, I'm on BBC Two. Don't swear. I'm on BBC Two. And I look at Ed, and Ed's like, yeah, thanks, Claire. Thank you for joining us. It's Tim and Ed here. We are on. And like, all of a sudden, my phone on the desk just starts going, like vibrating, going mad. And everyone's like, you're on telly. And that was it. And all of a sudden, we just started commentary. But because we were doing it just how we normally do it, we've had a bit of criticism, like people are like, oh, you're so over the top and this, and it is over the top, but that's just how we do it, and we just try and make each other laugh. We have fun with it, and snowboarding isn't serious, man. They're not bloody reinventing the wheel. It's just kids doing flips in the air. I mean, it's spectacular. It's amazing what they do, but we just had a laugh, and we just made each other laugh throughout the whole broadcast. And then to top it all off, our friend Jenny, one of my best mates I've known for 20 years, wins a bronze medal. And me and Ed lose it. Ed's crying. I'm trying not to cry. All kind of professionalism goes straight out the commentary booth windows. And then, of course, from there, it just went mental. We got, we had 300 official Ofcom complaints, which was good. But we had loads of love, and, and all of a sudden it was on the radar. And then from there on, I mean, this was day one of the Olympics. Yeah. So from there on, we were kind of our we had targets on our back, really. The Daily Mail dragged up some old photos of me that looked like I was robbing cars and stuff, and it was dead good. But, the bosses loved it, and we got great ratings, and, that snowboarding kind of put it firmly on the map. And I think the freestyle disciplines at that Olympics, everybody just loved it. And, getting messages off people that had no idea what freestyle skiing was or what snowboarding was, but were loving it, and just really, really good. So yeah, it was an amazing experience. And I don't think it really hit home until people were sending me clips of us on Radio 1. They're like, they're playing you on Radio 1. They're like, they're this and that. And so yeah, it was pretty mad, really.
That's such a cool thing that you must have been a part of. So another thing that you are, have been heavily involved in is Red Bull Soapbox. So I always feel like once you've had your Sunday dinner on a Sunday and it's about 6-7 o'clock, you're on the sofa, you stick Dave on, and there it is, and it's just great TV. So for anyone that doesn't know what it is, I'll let you explain what Red Bull Soapbox is.
Yeah, so the Red Bull Soapbox race is a race. It's a competition where competitors build homemade gravity-powered go-karts. So no engines in them, just brakes, and then they've got to race them down an obstacle course. And obviously what started off as maybe quite serious has turned into the ridiculous. So, the competitors have to perform a routine at the top of the course, and then race the cars down the hill, and literally that's it, and just try and get down as fast as they can. But the creativity that these people go to, I mean, it's such a brilliant event. It's done all over the world. Anywhere that they sell Red Bull, the product, is where they put on these events. So we've been so lucky to go from India to Norway, from Peru to America to the UK. We've been all over the world with this event, and it doesn't matter where you go, what country, what type of person, you'll always find that the type of person that wants to build, I don't know, a papier-mâché Donald Trump head, or a giant guinea pig, or a hot dog, or whatever, they want to build a big, massive, ridiculous car, spend 6 months of their lives building it, then dance at the top in a tutu, to then race down and crash this car, smash it into smithereens, and potentially break their arms. They're all the same type of person.
Really?
They're like just the nicest, most outgoing, welcoming, loveliest person. And so we go to these events, and being a broadcaster, and sometimes I'll go to an event, or for instance, I don't know, like a cycling event, if you're working on some cycling where it's pretty serious and it's all about winning, trying to get interviews out of the competitors, it's like pulling teeth. They're like, not now, I'm in the zone, can't talk now, no, don't even look at me. And you're going around and you're trying to do your job, and everyone's making it really hard. Here it's just like, you go up to someone and you're like, hey man, do you mind if I can we get a quick interview for the television for Soapbox race? And the guy's like, oh, for sure, you need me to put the Darth Vader helmet on? No problem. And you turn around and there's like minions everywhere, and there's just, it's like
crazy, man.
Absolutely brilliant. And it's we've been doing that since just after the Olympics, actually. Well, I got that gig pretty much because of the Olympics. So we ended up going to Peru for the first one, and I think out of the 75 cars, only 30 of them made it to the bottom because they all broke to bits and smashed up. And the producer, when he was back, when he got all like the film back home and started to try and edit it together, he was like, man, I don't think we're going to make a show. Not many cars finished, but actually they're the best ones when the cars don't finish.
Yeah, they are.
And so it's just proved a really successful format. And me and Gendel, I present it with my best mate. And I mean, that's the job I hope never ends, for sure. I've really enjoyed doing that job, and it's been a privilege to do it.
It's just brilliant TV. It's just there's no effort to watch it, and it's just funny all the way through as well.
Well, it's got all those moments. It's kind of got everything. It's got that moment where they pop up and it goes, here's Derek from Hunstanton. Derek is 52, and as a viewer, you're watching going, What is he going to build? He'll build a rocket. He'll build Derek's build a papier-mâché plate of fish and chips with 3 wheels. And then it's like, you go, he'll never make it. Yeah. He'll never make it. And he does, he does. And you're trying to guess the times. And yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. It's so good. And the creativity of the teams as well is just unbelievable.
It's a great show. So moving on to something that we very much have in common. We are both obviously Aston Villa fans. I remember when I probably used to cut your hair and the chat was probably quite
Benteke. It was all about Benteke back then.
Yeah, it was Benteke, and would we survive? Would he keep us up? Probably. But now talk to me about how you feel about watching Aston Villa at the minute.
How honest can I be?
Very.
Okay. I think it's going to take a couple of seasons to knock out of me that classic Aston Villa fan. We're going to chuck it away. Because I think that's ingrained in all of us, isn't it? You're watching the team, you're like, yeah, but we're going to concede in a minute. We're going to concede in a minute. And actually, you say that. I say that. I look at us now and I think, bloody hell, we look good. We're solid. And there's a real enjoyment again to watching the team. In many ways, since Benteke was last playing, that forward power that we had, that just the whole team would go. And it was like Ben-Hur on the chariots and the whips and the wheels. It was like, rah! We're just that again. It's just wicked, isn't it? Yeah. It's just brilliant. You said it a couple of podcasts ago. In fact, it might have been start season. Our biggest signing was keeping Jack, and man, what a morale boost that has been, keeping him, and the way that he's played and got his head down and just cracked on. It's been really brilliant. And I'll hold my hands up. I was one of he's off to United. I was in that camp firmly. I thought we'd lost him. I really genuinely did. And I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we guess at. We guess at the manager and the coaching staff. We guess at what they're doing, but nobody really knows, do we? We don't really know, unless you watch All or Nothing about Tottenham. Yeah. But it's like it's just been like I don't know. It's been really weird, and it's been rubbish that we've not been able to go to the games, but it's been brilliant that we can enjoy it and celebrate it. And
I kind of think I'd take not going now because we are quite good. That's the saving grace, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd love to be there watching them, but I think if we continue like this, I can kind of take watching it on TV for a little bit longer, as long as we keep getting and climbing that table. And I think you were right what you were saying. Like, we don't really know what goes on behind the scenes, but sort of to keep Grealish and build the way we have, there's something bubbling there. And I feel like it's just a matter of time before we really start to stamp our claim and become that team that we used to be.
I think so. Oh, I read a brilliant tweet the other day about someone saying that we're turning into the Aston Villa of the 80s again, which I just love. That I'd love it. It's and as well we've done it. Dare I say it the right way, haven't we? It feels like we've done it the right way. We've bought the right players in. Yeah, we've messed up. Yeah, we bought a couple of duds. Yeah, we've done this, but we've shipped out players. We've cut down the wage bill. We've moved players on that perhaps in the past we'd have been a bit guilty of going, do you know what? They're all right. Every fourth game, they're all right. Let's keep them. But no, it's not anymore. It's you've got to be performing. You've got to be good, and you've got to crack on and to be a part of this team, and you've got to be performing every week. And do you know what? We've got a team that are performing every week now, aren't they?
They're very good. I think another way of looking at it, which I've not done before, is in 2016 when we got relegated, look at that team compared to what it looks like now. So we've sort of like started again. We reset the club and sort of had new owners, and this is like a new Villa, should we say, which is a pretty good way of looking at it, really. And Dean Smith and everything that he's done, they're just quality. But would you say Grealish is the all-time best Villa player ever?
Oh,
because I feel like he's getting to that stage?
Mate, he's certainly on his way to a statue.
Yeah.
He's playing himself towards a statue. Do you know what? I have to hold my hands up. I'm not the I'm definitely a newer comer. All my family are Villa fans and have been, and Villa's been all the family are. And I sit with all my uncles and my cousin in the Holt end.
Yeah.
And it's but I definitely had a few years when I was concentrating on my snowboarding. I had a few years off from football where I was just not really bothered about it, and it kind of went by the wayside. And then when I kind of hung up my snowboard boots, that's when I got back into football again. So I don't want to sit here and profess to know the full history and the ins and outs of Aston Villa. But as far as best Villa player, certainly for my kind of newer generation, do you know what I mean? Since I've been back in it, since kind of 2000s and what have you, moving on, he is, isn't he? He just is. It's the level of consistency.
Yeah.
He's just brilliant.
It's
I guess
nice to watch as well. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not hard work watching him play football.
No.
And I think that he's easy on the eye when you watch him play as well, which again makes him look even better.
How proud do you feel when you read tweets from like other pundits and stuff, and they say that about how he's a joy to watch and he's a this and he's a that, and you just going, yeah, he's ass. He's ass.
That's what I mean. Like everything he's ever learned is pretty much coming from everything that he's done at Aston Villa, which is the real good thing. It's like when you sign a player like, I don't know, someone that's, say Ollie Watkins, like he's learned his trade at like lower league level. He's had standout season at Brentford. But when you look at Grealish, he's like, he is Aston Villa. And I think that is
through and through
the real good part about him as well, that, he's not learned his trade anywhere else apart from with Aston Villa, which is brilliant. So I'd like to say thanks, Tim, for coming on our podcast today.
Mate,
what's the name of your podcast?
Happy, thank you. So it's called Tim and Gen's Weekend Podcast. Drops every Tuesday, and it's just two best mates having a chat about what they got up to that weekend. And sometimes it's incredible, and sometimes it's actually just a bit shit.
Mate, it's really good. Anyway, thanks, Tim.
Hey, up the Villa, mate. Really good to chat to you. Speak to you soon. Mate.